Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How's everyone going?
Great.
How's the information been so far this weekend?
Better than good.
Better.
Excellent. Very.
Has it been good?
Yes.
Come on, guys. You're a bit flat. Has it been good? Yes or no?
Yes.
Fantastic. I really would like to acknowledge each and every one of you being here this weekend. It's actually a tremendous effort to get out of your comfort zone and turn up to an event such as the Think and Grow Rich event. So I want to commend you on that. I know some of you might have some fears, especially what I'm going to talk about, trading. Who's got some fears about trading? Raise your hand. Come on. Okay, fantastic. Hopefully I'm going to take you through my experiences and what I've learned to become a successful trader. And hopefully you can make a decision whether this is something that you might want to pursue and has the potential to make absolutely phenomenal cash flow. Who's after a bit more cash flow in their life? Raise your hand. Say hell yeah. Trading is all about cash flow because at the end of the day, we live our lives not to make money, but to have the cash flow to go out and create and live the lives of our dreams. Is that true?
Yes.
Yep.
The bottom line is if you haven't got cash flow, you can't go out for nice meals, you can't have your family in nice houses, you can't have a nice boat, and you can't have a lot of nice things. All you look forward to, if you haven't got a lot of money, is getting that those bills in the letterbox. They're really upsetting. Have you ever seen anything come through the letterbox that's very nice? But when you've got enough cash flow, you don't have to worry about it. Personally, I don't open them. I don't worry about bills because right now my cash flow is fantastic. If I fell over tomorrow, I'd be fine forever. Who would like to be in that situation? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay? That is something definitely to work towards, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah. So hopefully today what I'm going to talk about and educate you guys on is a subject that I'm very passionate about. It's what's called E-minis trading. But when I was first starting, I was very, very scared of it. I was scared of the share market like most people. Then I was shown quite simply what the potential is. Who would like to make 50,000 bucks a month? Raise your hand. Oh, yeah. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Who would like 100,000? Come on, raise your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but will you be okay with 50? Yes? For starters. Okay, what about over the next 12 months if you could possibly make $50,000 to $100,000? Who'd be up to something like that? Okay, the ones who didn't raise your hand, the door's out that way, right? Just joking, just joking. But the reality is, going to trading, you're not going to make $1 million in your first year. It doesn't come that easy. It takes a lot of work, dedication, but it's unbelievable what you can achieve. It's like anything. When you're learning something new, for example, like I'm going to tell you about my story, how I was a plumber. It took me actually 3 years to learn how to be a plumber and go and work by myself. But once I did, no one could actually take that away from me. It's like you guys right now are probably very, very good at your job. Most people will have a job. And you go there every day, and you know exactly what to do, and it's easy. That is the same what you can create in trading. Right now, I turn up to trade every single day. It's the easiest thing I could possibly do. I believe since I've become a full-time trader, I've never worked a day in my life because I love doing what I do. Who would like that, by the way? How many people, can I just get a show of hands, how many people are in the room that actually do what they love to do every single day? Raise your hand. Okay, so we've got a few. Okay, about 30%. So 70%, you guys have got to start working on it and raise to a next level. So what we're going to talk about today, guys, is specifically trading in E-minis, something I'm hugely passionate about. I'm going to take you through some trades. I'm going to show you how the money management works. I'm going to show you how what opportunities you got. Who would consider trading with me for 4 weeks in my house? Raise your hand. Okay, so we're going to talk about who would like to know about that, how that's going to work. A few people? Okay, fantastic. The opportunity to be able to sit next to a successful trader who, when you come to my house, you'll see how much incredible amount of money goes over my desk every day. We've got something what's called an auto trader as well, so I do live trading and auto trader. In any given day, I can have rocking over my, from my trading desk, basically 100 to 500,000 a day. Who would like to see that? Yeah. And that's cash flow in any given day. In this market, there's no cap what you could potentially make. It's huge. It's massive. I believe I'm just getting started. I've been trading for 8 years. But I believe going into next year that my potential to make a hell of a lot more money is unbelievable. And who would like that excitement within them? Come on, raise your hand. Most people. Because who would like to turn up to every day? You can't guarantee you're going to be making money, but you expect to make money. I turn up every day expecting to make money, and most days I do. And that is very, very cool. Any day that I potentially don't win, I've just lend the market some money for one day, and then I'll come back tomorrow, and what am I going to do? get it back, but you want it back with what? Interest. That's what it's all about. Depends how, a lot of businesses have expenses, don't they? Would you agree? What is their expenses mainly? They've got capital outlays, they've got staff, they've got this and that. E-mini as a business has got no staff. The overheads to run an e-mini business is basically internet connection, so what, you could get away with $50 a month? And so electricity, which you've got at home anyway. So basically, once you're a professional trader, to maintain your business, the overheads are non-existent, basically. Non-existent, because you've already got... Who's got internet at home? Raise your hand. Who's got power at home? Hopefully all of you, right? The reality is it won't cost you any more to actually run the business. When you're first learning to trade, and there's anyone who goes into the financial markets, whether it's trading, whether it's CFDs, Forex, options, there's heaps of different varieties out there, you need to get yourself educated. If you walk out there blind like I did, you're going to be in for a rude shock. If you hope to make money, you never will. If you plan to make money, you will. There's a big difference, okay? If you don't have a plan, you plan to what? Fail, absolutely. So what we're going to talk about, firstly, I need to get through my license disclaimer. As Jamie was talking about before, to be a financial educator and speak as we do, we need to be licensed. Anything that I talk about today is general in nature, okay? I don't give anyone specific personal advice. I'm not licensed to. So everything I talk about is from my perspective, the way I believe the markets to be. With any financial product and trading, there is risk, okay? Even though I don't believe I take any risk any day because I go there and execute a plan. But there is potential for risk. Everything I talk about is general nature, and my ASIC license is there. Is everyone okay with that and understands that? So yes? Yes. Okay, fantastic. What are we going to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about?
Money.
Bloody hell, no, right? You want to talk about boats, jet skis, right? Girls, boys, whichever suits. Creating the lifestyle. Like I just moved up to the Sunshine Coast yesterday. How cool is that, right? So I'm one of you guys now. I know it's going to take me 12 months to be accepted, right? But hopefully I can add a lot of value. But I was sitting out the house, and the house is on the canal, and there was a lot going on yesterday, but we put a seat out there, and I just sat down there, and I actually had 8 E-mini members come along and help me unload at my house, which I thought was pretty cool. And we just sat out there after we unloaded, because I've got a big outdoor setting. We sat out there, we cracked open a beer, and looking out in the water and go, this is what life's all about. Wasn't it a perfect day here yesterday? Just as good today, right? When I was leaving, I was going, oh no. But I knew I had to come and see you good guys. But what we need to do is how to get to 1 to 5,000 quickly. Who would like to know that? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, when you're first learning to trade, there's your wins and losses and learning curves and everything in between. But what I want to realistically let you guys know, how quickly can you get there? Some people, it can happen within a month or 2 months. Some people it take 6 months. Some people it might take 12 months or longer. Okay? But what we've got available now, and what I'm going to talk to you about, especially right at the end of this, I've got a program coming out that I'm expecting to get any person that comes through it, who it would be very hard for them, if they sit next to me for 4 weeks especially, to walk away and not be earning 20 grand plus a month. Who would like that opportunity? Come on, most people. So we've created a massive cash flow, but there's other people. I've got some people are going to be on some videos that are getting outstanding results. A guy who started a month and a half ago, he's up 10 grand. He knows nothing about trading. I said, how did you make 10 grand? He goes, it's easy, Dave. I just do what you do. Because I don't know how to do anything else. Okay, so he's got a bit going here, or a bit going there. Then I've got guys in the trading room who've been trading. One has been trading for about 8 months, and I haven't heard a word out of him for 8 months. In this last month, like, he's exploding. He's made probably about 15 grand in the last month. And he's just decided to let me know about it. And then you've got all different stories. Some people making 200 bucks in a week. Some people making 1,000. You know, there's one guy right now who's really ramped it up, and he's looking to make really 10 grand a week. And it's possible for him because he's been around long enough. When you're first starting, though, you want to keep your risk score. Who would like to keep their risk small? Raise your hand. Okay, everyone, when you go out to learn how to trade, start with $2,500 or start with $5,000, because that is your comfort level when you're first learning. My perception is when you go into the markets that you needed, to be risking 50,000, 100,000 to make any money, it's just not true. Okay, that's one of the amazing things about the E-minis. I was just blown away by the simplicity. I put a trade on, I'm risking say right now, if I put a trade on, I'm trading the lowest amount, I'll be risking $75. Who's comfortable risking $75? Okay. Who's comfortable risking $50,000? Okay. So you're all with me, you understand what I'm talking about. But once you get up, like personally right now, I only risk in any given day between $10,000 and $15,000. And I've been trading 8 years. And my risk is $10,000 to $15,000 in any given day. My reward in any given day can be between $10,000 and $25,000 as well. Who would like the reward side of things? Okay? Most people. So even at my level, I've been doing for a long time, to create the cash flow that you're after, you don't need a hell of a lot of money. Right now, I use, the way I'll teach you how to use money management and stuff, I only need a $125,000 trading account. That's all I need. Because that's all I use. But next year, I really are going to ramp things up. But the amount of money you can make off that, just getting a little bit out of the markets, you know, can be $50,000 to $100,000 in a given month, and it's just phenomenal what you can actually make. So who's already got the $50,000 spent? Raise your hand. Come on, right? You've got to spend it in your mind. So we're going to talk about how really to up the ante pretty quickly. What is index trading? So what do I actually trade? I trade E-minis, and we're going to talk about specifically what are they. Benefits, why trade them? It's all about the cash flow, guys. It's all about creating the cash flow to live the life of you want. Think about this. Who would like to be trading, say once you learn and you're a professional trader, who would like to trade maybe 6 hours a week? You might do it on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, or work maybe 2 days a week and then spend the rest doing what you'd like. Raise your hand. Who would like to do that? Okay, most of you. Okay, fantastic. When you're a professional trader, that's what you can actually do and achieve. I could do that tomorrow. But what happens to you, do you think? Like Jamie is all about lifestyle, and he's out on boats, and he's this and he's that, right? But doesn't that drive me a bit nuts, right? The reality is you get a little bit lazy. Personally, trading, I love to do it every day. So it's something that when I go to do it, I'm not thinking it as a job. But if I don't want to be there Monday or don't want to be there Friday or Wednesday, I don't need to be there. Okay? So the benefits of trading, in my opinion, is all about the cash flow, creating the lifestyle so you can spend with your family, your kids, and if you're a little bit later in life, you know, the holidays and all the nice things. We weren't put on this earth to go and make money and pay the government, were we? Or the government might think we are, right? But the reality is, if you can go out there and learn how to create the cash flow, and I've got amazing opportunities, whether it's just using an auto trader, for example, and using in your broader spectrum, if you trade shares, for example, you might want to take advantage of what we do as well. I know there's about 10 super funds, for example, we've got an auto trader. There's over 313 people on it, okay, taking advantage. Right now we have in the trading room, for example, we've got a live trading room that we have over, in any given day, is over 180 people go through it. So some might come in the morning, some might come here, some might come there. So actively, we've got nearly 500 people up and running and doing e-minis every day. So you guys have got to jump on board too, right? So yes? Okay, cool. Pardon? I can't tell the super funds. You can talk to me about it later. They have super funds on it, people. So I'm going to show you live trades and how it works and the mechanics of it. Okay, so if you're starting out with $2,500, the mechanics of what you actually return is on your investment or the money that you need to execute a trade. It's absolutely phenomenal. It blows you away. The reality is, if you take a trade, a simple trade, you can make 20% return on your money within 1 to 20 minutes. Who'd like to see that? Raise your hand. Okay, but that's risking 100% of your money. I would always say we only want to be risking 3% of your money. Okay, keeping it very small. But the amount of money you can potentially make for e-minis is just phenomenal. That's for sure. We're going to talk about results. Over the last month, they've been not too bad, and a lot of members are getting outstanding results, and that's what I'm interested in. Doesn't matter what I can do. As an educator and teacher of e-minis, what my goal is to be able to teach everyone how to trade and take it home and do it themselves. What my goal is to empower you guys, just say if you become an e-mini member, is to empower you to go home and be able to do it yourself and give you the confidence and strength to do it. And that means I'm achieving. If you're just relying on me forever, I haven't achieved much. Okay? So getting the results for my clients is number one priority. Also, we'll talk about the auto trader. Who would like to be just auto trading? Raise your hand. Forever. There are a few people, right? Some people have got no clue about trading and not interested in trading, but you can just auto trade. and take advantage of other people's. Like Jamie was saying today, you can buy businesses and put other people in place to execute it for you, and you just control it. Okay, so that's opportunities out there as well. Explain our trading room, and so on and so on. So what I need from you guys, I need a few things. Is that okay? Yeah. Say yes. First thing, I want you to take plenty of notes. It's been a long 2 days, right? Take some notes so you remember what I was talking about. So with your notes, you can review them tomorrow and the next day and the next day. There's a lot of unbelievable value information that I'm giving you right here, that hopefully you can intake so much of it today, but tomorrow you might go over all your notes and that as well and see if e-minis is something for you. Next one, write down any questions you have. Obviously, if I ask you a question, I want you to respond, yes? Yes. But you can't ask me questions through this, but after it, I'll be sticking around, so you're quite welcome to come up to me and say, Dave, what about this, what about that, and all that. Third one is enjoy yourself, okay? If this, you might think it might be complicated, or if it goes over your head, especially because you've been here for a little bit, don't worry. Don't worry about it, okay? Just see the possibilities. It's like what I've spoke about this weekend, and hopefully other people have spoke about this weekend, is the potential cash flow to go live the life you want. The potential cash flow in e-minis is, if you're looking to make $100 a day, or you're looking to make $1 million a day, it's achievable. It's absolutely achievable, and it's out there. Okay, so you all agree to those three things? Say yes? Yes. Very quickly, I want you to do something for me, just to make sure you are all on the ball. Everyone stand up. Don't say, oh God, right? This is a good thing. What I want you to do very, very quickly, I want you guys to dare to dream. What I want you to do is introduce yourself to 2 or 3 people around you, say your name, where you're from, and what you're going to spend $5,000 a week on. Go for it really quickly. How much? $5,000 a week. Quickly, take a seat. I know you're all spending the money. So what could we buy with $5,000? What's the first $5,000 going on?
Holiday.
Holiday. Should go on yourself always. Write that down. Reward yourself. What else?
I'm wrong then. I want to buy shares.
You want to buy shares? Reinvestment is fantastic. Like, just say a part of your overall investment strategy. If you're an e-minis trader, you're going to have to spend some of that money on something else, aren't you? Looking into your future, like how many investment properties could you hold if you're earning $5,000 a week? Not many? Well, you could hold a lot. Or there's so many different things, you know. If you're earning $5,000 a week, for example, you could live the $1 million lifestyle tomorrow. You don't need the $1 million. Okay? But creating the cash flow that, you know, that will sustain you for what you want, whether it's $1,000 a week, whether it's $2,000, it's really irrelevant because everyone will be a little bit different. Okay? But creating the cash flow more than, say, $1,000 a week, which probably most people earn if they're employed, for example. Obviously, there's people that make a lot more money. But if you've got a business with the potential to make $1,000 a week in the short term, then over, just say in 12 months or 2 years, 5,000 plus, that is something to work towards. Would you agree? Yep. It's unbelievable because the reality is no one goes out there, works for money. They work most of the time because they have to. But creating the cash flow, that's what it's all about. So I want to quickly tell you about my story because some people will be sitting there thinking that you need to be really smart to be a trader, or it is so difficult to become a trader, because I thought it was. That was my perception because of the news. Do you know your perception of trading, for example, will come from 2 sources predominantly. Which ones are they? Media. So on the news, is there any positive news out there? Not often, right? So they only tell you when the markets crash and a lot of superannuations have lost the money. But they won't tell you about all the guys that made a lot of money, because as an e-minis trader, we can make money when the markets go down or up. And what's the other way?
People that failed.
People that failed. So if your friends told you, oh, trading's very dangerous, and if you haven't traded before, it's like it's 9/10 of the law, isn't it? That's your reality. But if you step out of your comfort zone, it's actually not the reality. So I just want to really take you through my story. There's nothing special about it. Some people might say, you know what, it's not a bad story, Dave. But the reality is I left school at 16, very, very young. I hated school. I was pretty good at it, but I just hated it. I got out. I wanted to earn real money. So I went straight into a plumbing apprenticeship. Is there any plumbers in the room? Lucky, lucky, lucky. The reality is I thought it was great because I was earning good money, but I was basically a human backhoe. If you can imagine me with a shovel, right? I know I've got a shirt on, right? But I had a shovel, basically like digging holes for the first 2 years of my plumbing apprenticeship. My boss thought I was much cheaper than a backhoe. I said, hire a backhoe, it'll take like an hour. He goes, no, you're much cheaper. The reality was, so I was digging holes, and it took me about 3 years, a little over 3 years, for him to trust me to send me out in my own work ute, and I was executing all the tasks that he taught me. But it took me over 3 years to actually learn all that. So I was fully qualified by the time I was 20. So I was earning pretty good money back then. That was how long ago? I'm 37 now. 20 was a long time ago, right? I don't feel any older in the mind. The body's not so good. But the reality was, I was earning $500 a week. How far does $500 a week go, guys?
This much.
About this much. Sometimes for me, I could go out on a Thursday night after pay, and I'd ask my mum for lunch money the next day. So sometimes it doesn't last that long. But the reality was, I had fun, which you should have. Between 20 and 25, I just had a heap of fun. I was playing footy, sports. I would be going out all the time and, really living it up and enjoying my life. And then I met my wife. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a great thing, right? And it's a growth thing. But when you get married, what do you've got to do? You've got to grow up. You've got to grow up. You start saving money for a house because you want kids. Okay? If you haven't got any money, it's very hard to have kids. And especially my kids, they need a lot. Don't they, Ash? But the reality is, we started to get serious about life, seeing about how we're going to save some money, get a house, and really get fair income about life. And that took me till I was 25. I thought I'd done pretty well to have that much freedom until then. But the reality was, earning $500 a week was not going to get me very far, was it? I wasn't going to save much. The reality was my outlook was pretty poor. I always wanted to be a millionaire. Raise your hand if you want to be a millionaire. Most people, okay? I desperately wanted to be a millionaire. And I thought, geez, this plumbing caper's not going to get me there. Okay, which most it won't. I actually write this down. Risk equals opportunities. You need to take a few risks. I took the first risk. Once I got married and me and my wife decided that wasn't the risk, right? That wasn't the risk. The reality was we needed to... You guys, you got me. It wasn't a risk. All right. The reality was we needed to earn some more money because we weren't going to get very far with what we were doing. So I took the first risk and I started my own plumbing business. Instead of working for a boss, I took the leap, which was so scary at the time. It is very scary. A lot of people are in a comfort zone working for a boss, which is nothing wrong with. Okay, but I took the risk and I borrowed about $15,000 off my father-in-law, started up my plumbing business, and I went out there and I was actually probably losing money. I should have stayed with the boss initially. But after 6 to 12 months, I built the business up to be making a lot more money than I was on wages. And at the end of the day, I was making about $5,000 a week from being a plumber. $5,000 a week. Raise your hand if you think that's okay. Plumber, yeah. It was pretty good, right? I was basically gone from a $500 plumber to a $5,000 plumber, but I had a lot of responsibilities. In that sort of business, then I had staff. What else do you have? Overheads. I had vehicles, then more vehicles, and then I got to the $5,000 mark, and I said, if I want to take this bigger, it's going to cost me a lot more money. But the worst thing about being a plumber in my business, and it was growing, my time was shot. Absolutely shot. I was working 6 days a week, 13, 15 hours a day. I get to Sunday, and then what do? Sleep to do what?
Catch up.
To recuperate to Monday so you can go do it all again. Who's in that rhythm right now? Raise your hand. Okay, a few people. Okay, we need to get you out of that rhythm, right? But the reality is that I was making good money and I was creating this business, but it wouldn't survive without me. And it was never going to make me the millionaire that I wanted to be. And it was going to take me 20 or 30 years to create the $1 million, but that's to leave it to my kids and for them to benefit from me working for 40 years. But I said, you know what? I want something for me. Who's like that? Raise your hand, come on. Firstly, if you want something, you've got to have it for you first. You've got to know what you want and why you want it, and you'll go put the effort into it. If you don't know what you want, you won't go put the effort in there. That's for sure. I needed to find out what I wanted, and what I wanted was the nice houses and the cars and my kids and my family to do very well. But I didn't want that in 20 years' time. Does that make sense? I don't want to work and then die and someone else benefit from all my work. I wanted to live with my family. I wanted to take my kids out and do all the things. I wanted to take my wife out and do all the things as well and have a nice life between us. Not a nice life for them and a shitty one for me at work. Does that make sense? I wanted to be a part of that. That's okay, isn't it? But the reality was, so I need to go, what's the quickest way to find something better?
Look for it.
Get out there and look for it. That's why I acknowledged all you guys being here this weekend. You need to be out actively looking to find what's going to suit you. Maybe e-minis or trading won't suit you, but it'll be sure open your eyes to what's possible. And it's like investment properties, I believe it's one of the best things to do ever. So you need to be actively out there for it. So I started going out and doing seminars like this, for example. I was a bit of a cheapie on the start, I'd go for the free ones. And then all of a sudden I enrolled in so many different programs. All up I spent $90,000 on different programs. And I don't regret a cent of it. I learned something from each one of them. But more importantly, I was out there and I found the e-minis, which suited me down to a T. Who likes instant gratification? Raise your hand. Okay, good. So you guys will be good traders, right? Who would like to wait 6 or 12 months to get a result? Raise your hand. No, it's too far away, isn't it? Even 2 years or 5 years. That's why I learned so much about investment properties, and over 10 years they're an awesome vehicle. Absolutely awesome. But in the short term, to change your life dramatically and get the cash flow quickly, it wasn't going to do much for me. So I was leaning towards the share market, and I found the e-minis and I was blown away. Some guys were showing me what they were making, and I went, I want some of that. If you guys come to my house and see me take an average trade and see me make 80 grand, who would want some of that?
What's your address?
What's my address? I mean, not far away, right? Not far away.
I'm up to Sunshine Coast, so I don't mind driving.
Do you know where Pelican Waters is? Okay, well, I'm in there on the canal somewhere, right? You'll find me on jet skis and boats and having some fun out there. So, see some, yeah. Once you become a member, you'll know exactly where I live and you will be invited to come and trade with me, that's for sure. No matter what level you go to, I'm having nights where people can come and just, like groups of say 15 for 1 night or 2 nights, come in and trade with me to see how it all works. So what I'm actually doing now is making it a lot more accessible for people. I want them to see me not as, or a voice just on a screen, for example. I want to come in and feel what I feel or see what I see to give them the encouragement to keep going. Okay, that's what it's about. Now, guys, you've totally sidetracked me and I forget where I am in my story. You're all coming to my house, right? Yeah. Barbecue. After that bit. I found the e-minis, right? I found the e-minis. And I was blown away by the simplicity, and I seen straight away the power, what potentially can be made here. And the cash flow, and I went, wow, I want some. I jumped straight in. I was hooked. I was trading basically 4 or 5 hours a night straight away. I had no knowledge, didn't know what I was doing. I had no money management. I was just hoping to make money, and what happened? I lost it all several times, not just once. But I was in there learning, actively searching how to make this work. And after a year and a half, I had no one at the start really to tell me, say, Dave, listen, you need money management. What's that? You need rules. Oh, bullshit, right? Who drives down the road right now on the speed limit? Raise your hand.
Always.
Who doesn't? Raise your hand. Not many people are good at following rules, right? And when you go into the trading arena, I had no rules because I had no experience. I didn't know what rules I needed. I didn't know that, you need a maximum stop loss in any given day. Because if things are going bad, you need to pull it up really quickly. I didn't know it wasn't a good thing to trade 100% of your account. I didn't know that you needed to put some protection in with your broker just in case your computers went down and your phones went down and you had no communication. That was the most expensive lesson I learnt. Bottom line is, I went into a business, I had no experience, I had no right to be there because I had no education, and I was in an area that, sure, you can make a hell of a lot of money, but a lot of people donate to the markets. Why?
Not prepared.
Not educated, not prepared. They've got no idea. People will go into the markets, for example, for 3 months or 6 months expecting they want the result now. If they don't get the result now, what do?
Put a big lip.
They give up and they tell their friends, nah, trading's very dangerous, I done it, I done this, I done that. The classic example of people first learning, I was it. After a year and a half, I said, you know what? I'm sick of giving the money market. I was down about $50,000. I said, no more. I had to either make it happen there and then, make it work now, or give up. And I've had to give some tough love to my members as well. If you won't follow the rules and have money management and this, that and the other, you won't make money. If you put it all in place, it's impossible to fail. Impossible to fail. So I put all the things in place. I put my money management in place. I created all the rules. Do you think that was a job? And I had to, to this day, I write more and more rules because if I can find a way to bugger it up, I needed to create a rule to fix it. And when you're learning to trade, you might invent something there that I haven't invented yet, or a mistake, for example. And you'll need to create your own rules that you're comfortable with. Okay, I give you a guide. If I had someone to give me a guide at the start and say, hey, hang on, before you start, what are your rules? So, oh shit, I better find some. What's your money management? How much capital are you starting with? What trades are you going to take? I would get into the market initially and just jump in because I wanted to get a part of it. Win, lose or draw. Is that the way to trade, yes or no? No. It's definitely not, is it? Okay, so once I created all my rules and basically created the business plan and the model to make money in trading, as soon as I executed, guess what happened? It worked. I don't know, what am I going to say? It was just unbelievable. It was like, man, why didn't you do this a year and a half ago? But as human beings, we need to learn by our mistakes. Okay, even though I'll tell you, say, listen, don't do this because this is what will happen to you. You think you'll do that?
We'll try it.
You'll try a little bit. On a little version, you go, yeah, shit, you were right, Dave, right? So you'll have rules, but you'll break a few of them here and there. But it's all about a learning process and refocusing on getting it back and working for you. But as soon as I had the business model, I started making money. I cleaned my debt, my $50,000 I was down. I cleaned it very fast. And I went, wow. Now I could really see the potential. And then I built up and I was in profit. As soon as I made more than, in another 3 months, I was earning more out of my trading than going to work. What could I do then?
Give it up.
I could give up the day job and the work. And guess what? That has actually, so far, has been my biggest achievement ever. Being a millionaire is no big deal. How many millionaires are in the room, by the way? Okay, put your hand up if you are. It's nothing to be worried about. Okay, fantastic. So there are 5, 6, 7, 10 millionaires in this room already. Being a millionaire is no big deal, actually. It's no big deal. Getting the accomplishments. Imagine if you started to trade and all of a sudden it's something you've got no idea about and it's something that you can make a hell of a lot of money in. It's the accomplishment, isn't it? The money or the cash flow is just the prize at the end. Initially, I asked you guys, why would you like to trade? Your initial response would be money. It's not about money. One is the cash flow and the second one is the achievement. The achievement. In life, we try to achieve, don't we? Why are you guys here all weekend? Because you're looking for something new. You're looking for some inspiration or something that possibly will suit you guys, whether it's trading, property, whatever it may be. Doesn't really matter. But because you're here and you're actively searching, you have the opportunity to create whatever you want. And as soon as I started making money, I went up and up and up the contracts, and I got to a stabilized area that, potentially you can make, some months I could make 50,000 or more. Some winning trades I've had in a day has just been phenomenal. And I've had some nice losses as well. Okay? But the reality now, I'm very consistent. I have a line like this. When you first start trading, your line's like this. That was me. It's not very good, right? That was my starting point. Once you start to learn a bit more, and I've created my business plan and all that, my line was like that. Still the big dips. You with me? Now it's like this. It's very, very consistent, even, and it's very, very easy to do. This is the stage when I started, no idea, no plan, up and down like a yo-yo, but predominantly on the way down. As soon as I put the plan together, I still had yo-yos because even though I had my plan, I couldn't 100% execute it every day. I had lapses here and there. Right now, when I turn up to trade every day, I know all my rules inside out. I know my signals. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've trained it to be who I am when I'm there. Does it make sense? So when I'm trading, I follow these rules. I do this, I do this, I do that. It's got nothing to do what you are as a human being or personally. When you're trading, I was saying to the guys, the very nice 8 members that come to my house last night and help me unload. So do you think they started picking my brain a little bit? Yeah.
I would.
You would? When I first started, and I created the business plan, I could implement it for a day or two, and then I would have problems. Does that make sense? And then once you've been implementing a trading plan for a month, 2 months, and then 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, now it is who you are. This is the point I was coming to. It's come to me now as I've gone through the story. When you turn up to trade, don't take anything personally. Trading has got nothing to do with personal. Okay, so if you have a loss, it's not your fault. It's not your friend's fault or your mother's fault or the market's fault. The trade just didn't work. Never take it personally. People say if you become rich or become a good trader, you become a what? Arrogant, not a nice person, right? You become a little bit of an ass. Let me tell you, if you're a great bloke or a wonderful lady before you had money, you'll still be the same person. Money doesn't change people. That was who they are originally. Okay? But when you're trading, you turn up, you need to change from where you are right now. So wherever you are right now in your trading career or in life, to become a trader, you need to think about things a little bit differently. You need to follow rules 100% or you won't make money. You need to create them. You need to create a business plan. You can't go out there and do things by half. Does that make sense? You need to do them 100% wholeheartedly and you can make a fortune. Absolute fortune. So I did that, and that's why as today my trading went from becoming successful, and then I started teaching my friends because they were asking me, how are you doing this? I say, come on, I'll show you, because I was excited. There's another little tip. When you get excited about something, you go tell a friend, be careful who you talk to. They'll be very quickly trying to pull you down, right? But I would, like my family, they didn't know what I'd done, and they probably, most of them don't know what I do now. Okay? But the reality was you want positive people around you, and people are going to reinforce what you're trying to achieve. And I had people around me that wanted to learn. So yeah, I started up a live trading room online. And I started teaching my friends. And then I was getting phone calls from people I didn't even know. I'm so-and-so's friend, I'd like to trade too. Sure. Jump in. At one stage, I was training 50 people how to trade. How much money did I make out of it?
Nothing.
Nothing. I was doing it for free. It was fun. But the reality was I thought, oh shit, I actually enjoy this. Because if you've traded before, trading can be a lonely experience. Okay, being in an online environment like we are now, it's a fantastic experience. We've got a lot of camaraderie, a lot of members know each other and we catch up, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And you can get support networks around you that way very, very easily. That's what it's about. Okay, so I started teaching people. Then I needed a license because I put a website up and one of our competitors didn't like me very much. And they got me shut down really quickly. And I said, oh, how do I go get one of those licenses? It's not very easy, right? You need to really know someone who knows someone who might know someone. And by the end of it, you know, they're pretty expensive as well. So that's when I come into 21st Century and I hooked up with Jamie and we had several meetings and we went over results previously, what he's looking for and everything in between. To cut a long story short, we negotiated a deal that I would come on with 21st Century. He'd create his own program and I would create it and expand it. And today we've been going about 16 or 18 months, something like that. And it's something that I'm hugely proud of. Going forward into next year, I believe I can make it even a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better. By bringing people in to be able to trade with me, experiencing making a lot of money really fast. And that's what it's all about. But changing people's lives. I get emails, especially over the last 2 months, I've got phenomenal emails. How many people, who else would you know that I put a call out to the trading room and say, Sebastian did because he was moderating the trading room, he said, Dave's travelling to Queensland. He needs some help tomorrow, if anyone can go around. I had 8 people turn up at my door. What can we do? And guess where they come from? There was only one guy that lived 10 minutes away. All the rest of them, one guy drove 2.5 hours. Another guy, a lot of them drove 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But isn't that incredible? Mm-hmm. And then we had a few beers, and then what'd they do? No, they crashed at my joint too. They crashed at my... But they did pick my brain. Through it, I said, no more picking my brain. But the reality is, you know, that is phenomenal. And going forward, I'm creating this business around me and getting fantastic traders around me to really be able to replace myself in 12 months. Not that I'm going anywhere, but just if I'm not there, it'll still run. And all the successful traders in the trading room will start helping other people. We've got guys in there creating phenomenal results and, you know, earning $1,500 a day. Some of them $2,000 a day. A lot of them are very quiet, but it's happening. And they've been going for 6 months or 12 months. It doesn't happen in your first month, right? But over a bit of an extended period, and they're creating amazing results.